We're going to turn now to Lauren Demarest. I mentioned her a couple of times already. She's an entrepreneur who impressed me when I met her in Mykonos at the FT, the Follow the Entrepreneur. She came to our FT Mykonos. Some of you remember, and it's been referenced a couple of times, both by Daria, who talked about risk and uncertainty in the Greek property market and so forth. We launched what we refer to as the Mykonos decade. In Mykonos, that means that we're taking our FTE, the Follow the Entrepreneur. We moved it to Malta, then we moved it to Dubrovnik, we moved it to Taormina, Sicily, then we moved it to Kiev, and we decided to keep that October summit in Mykonos for 10 years because Mykonos has established itself as this iconic brand that everybody who in our group of people, everybody would know Mykonos, and everybody would say, yeah, no, that's pretty special, and there's something excellent and exceptional about Mykonos. And with everything that's been going on in Greece, I think we recognize that there is some of the comments that were made by Vicky and Aphrodite, that there is something quite extraordinary, that in some respects Greece has even leapfrogged because of the emergence of things like the digital property idea and so forth. If one can have, without being any offensive to people, Greece has had kind of a good COVID. It's been good for the country. It's helped them grab hold of the digital. And so we refer to the Mykonos decade as the risk and uncertainty has left Greece, not just Greek property, but it's institutional ready. It's ready for people to invest their time and to make it a place for them. Now, Lauren already knew that. She's going to tell you when she had the vision to come to Greece, set herself up in Mykonos to do what she was doing, the blend of her personal story, the Greek story. I invited her to share her vision because I thought she's so backable. She's been so professional in terms of the way that she's operated. I think she's got a great business and also just a great consumer proposition. So please welcome Lauren Demarest.
Thank you so much for having me here, Julie. I really appreciate it. It's exciting. So some of you have already maybe gotten a chance to experience a little bit of what I'm building, either through some of the yoga classes in the morning, or maybe you joined us for the hike. So a lot of that is part of what the Sweat Vacay experience is all about. I'm the founder and CEO of Sweat Vacay and Sweat Booker, and soon to be Petra's Gym. So I'm going to tell you about the three exciting and very different opportunities that I'm working on right now. So this is a peek at Sweat Vacay, and the idea here is about vacation workouts. I went to Mykonos for the first time in 2017, and as a class passer, maybe some of you know what that means, I like to pick up classes all around me in the fitness and wellness space. So when I made my way to Mykonos, I wanted to pick up a beach yoga class. And, there wasn't really anything that was easy to find or easy to book. And I thought, that's weird. This is a cosmopolitan destination. How can that be? That really makes no sense. And actually, I kept thinking about it, and it bothered me, and I thought about it for like a year, and I realized that maybe there was a really big opportunity in this place, in this space, that I couldn't really ignore. So I quit my amazing job that I really loved in New York. I was a creative director at McCann, to start a business and move to Greece that offered outdoor high-end studio style classes. And now we've moved into also personal training sessions, some of the adventure travel excursions that some of you got to try, spa services, and also now wellness facility consulting, all based in Mykonos and hopefully beyond. These are just some of the things that we're offering, and now we're sort of delving a little bit into our retreat offering, starting here at Keanaissance in Kia, and we're looking to expand to a few other islands in the coming months, including Kia, Limnos, and Paros. So working on all of our different kinds of new offerings in new places and new spaces. The wellness consultation is new as well. It's involving equipment consultation, hospitality training, staffing, and training for people at five-star hotels and beyond here in Greece. What you get when you work with Sweat Vacay is we provide advertising, seeing as that's my actual background and that's what I enjoy doing. Also global talent. Hiring locally is really, really, really important to me, and providing local jobs is a big part of why I'm doing what I'm doing. But I'm also very excited by our guest instructor program. Maybe some of you have gotten a chance to meet Sean. She comes to us as part of our guest instructor program from London, but we've got people that are coming to us from all over the world to practice and to experience Greece firsthand. We have people coming from New York and from Toronto, from Bordeaux, Mallorca, Belgrade, Jakarta, Cape Town, all over the place. When people work with us, they're also getting, insurance, high quality sound systems. We are a full service package where we're bringing absolutely everything to the table. So it's a turnkey solution where people can just say, yes, I want wellness to be part of my experience. What can you do for me? And we can bring all kinds of gorgeous equipment. Some of you have gotten a chance to use some of our really pretty branded yoga mats. We've got Stages C3 bikes, the same kind that you would use at an Equinox or a Soul Cycle, so that all of our customers are already familiar with the equipment. And this year we're working with exciting new places. If you are familiar with Mykonos, and you probably already know some of these nice places, but we're also expanding a little bit to the mainland this year with some new contracts with Costa Navarino. And we are working more directly with some interesting equipment distributors like Kaiser. So we're having a lot of fun with our new partners and getting to know some of the new places and spaces on Mykonos and also beyond. In terms of growth for Sweat Vacay, I've sort of bucketed what we want to do into 3 parts. First is really on island. Mykonos is our base, and there's a lot that we'd really like to do there. First, I'm in love with this boat. My God, this is my friend Jason's boat. It's called the Prince of Athens, and it's just gorgeous. And I want to make it into a floating studio because there's all this beautiful space on this deck. And I think that people would really love to do yoga on the water. And I've had this vision for a while, and I've been looking at boats for a while, and I think this one is just so exceptional. I would also really like to be able to, I like working with all of the transport companies and being able to, work with people locally that are getting people from class to class and place to place and event to event. But I'd also really love to skin a VW van and take people places myself. So there's a lot of really fun on island touch points and ideas that I'd like to work on. Again, the second bucket is throughout Greece. So beyond just Mykonos, we're trying to have a lot of new growth and potential partners here on Kia, as I said before, on Limnos and on Paros, in Vula, and in Costa Navarino in the Peloponnese. So looking at growth throughout Greece. And then beyond Greece, there's a lot of really interesting new markets. I've talked to a lot of you about what some of those markets could potentially be. And, I heard yesterday, there's pockets in so many places that don't have these kinds of classes and these kinds of wellness opportunities. And it's like the wellness wave has come through the US. It's come through Southeast Asia with Guava Pass. It's come through the Middle East, and now it's coming to Europe, and finally it's making its way to Greece, and it's making its way through the Mediterranean, and I want to be first to market for all of it. So we're seeking to grow Sweat Vacay with new hires and new markets. Some of you might not know this, but when you bring on staff in Mykonos, where there's places like housing shortages, you are meant to house everyone. So also all of our classes are in different places. So we also have a fleet of cars. So new hires also housing and more vehicles. The new studio offerings, including this beautiful yoga yacht idea, is really exciting and compelling to me. Some of these new partners in new places, we're exploring potentially Germany for the winter, ideas in Baden-Baden. We're looking at Spain, France, Portugal, and Croatia as some of those expansion markets that I mentioned. And for me, with advertising as my background, new media buys are always really exciting for me. I would love to get some traditional broadcast out there and maybe a little bit more out of home in addition to our mix of social, digital, and collateral that we already have. So as part of our Sweat Vacay family of brands here, I've taken you through what I want to do with on-island growth, Greek growth, and beyond Greece. But the other two sort of like pieces of this puzzle that really excite me are Sweat Booker and Petra's Gym. So Sweat Booker was sort of born of the pandemic. It was an idea that I'd had before that I just was never really going to have the time to build until finally the whole world shut down and we were all given this weird gift of time. So I realized that with something like Sweat Vacay, if people are going to seamlessly book classes, then you need a booking tool, you need a payment processor, and the global leaders in this space are MindBody and ClassPass, and neither of those are available in this region, which is mind-blowing. How can that be? I wanted to put Sweat Vacay on MindBody, and they said, too bad, we're not available. What? I reached out to ClassPass. I would love to put Sweat Vacay on ClassPass. They said, oh, it's too bad. We're not available in Greece. What? How can that be? You're global leaders in this space. So I built Sweat Booker as a competitor. This is a fitness and wellness booking tool for Mediterranean markets and beyond. Basically, a lot of big gyms, boutique studios, and individuals in the wellness and fitness space really aren't searchable. Building a website can be kind of expensive, and a lot of people in Greece don't really have the sort of web presence or digital presence that some other studios might in other parts of the world. So we're fixing that with Sweat Booker. People can easily just build a wellness profile, sort of like you would build a Facebook profile or a LinkedIn profile, and now you have a mini website. You don't need an expensive website. You can build a profile for free. Now you can send people there. It's not affordable. Even if MindBody was available in this region, it's $250 a month. So like in Athens, that's rent on a nice house. If you're a yogi working for yourself, you're not going to blow that kind of money on a booking tool. That's insane. So I built this to be affordable. It's developed for this market and for this region. And technically it's free. There's no monthly fee. There's no annual fee. We just take a booking fee. And also, there are some problems around like people in this region maybe aren't as tech savvy. And so I'm really trying so hard to invest in the digital infrastructure in Greece and in the Mediterranean. And this is a little bit of what it looks like. You can search by gym, by trainer, by any kind of qualifier. You can browse and you can find actual classes around you. You can find in-person classes. You can find digital streaming classes. We're trying to keep it very versatile so you can find anything you want. And I started to think about, this isn't just a tool for me. It's not just a tool for Sweat Vacay. It's a tool for all of the clubs and all of the individuals within the sports and wellness world in Europe. So beyond Greece, what do those dynamics look like? So I really started to think about how many people are actually working out, the membership growth, what are they actually paying in order to develop my business model here? And to see what kind of actual opportunities there were and how big that market really was within Greece, the Mediterranean, and Europe at large. I took a look at my competitive set, and like I said, there's not a lot that's actually available in Greece, which is why I built this. There's a couple homegrown options, but they're really just a nice group of trainers that have brought together some other nice groups of trainers and have made them and their friends bookable online, and they're really nice, but it's not very scalable. And you can kind of see in terms of affordability, in terms of memberships, in terms of how people are discovering what my competitive set really looks like here. It's sort of like a double-sided business model. I already told you I'm taking a booking fee, but also on the other side of the double-sided marketplace, there's a user, right? So it's actually free for the user to use, but if someone is going to be like an ultimate user and use this more than 5 times a month, like a class passer would, it makes more sense to just do the €5 membership because it unlocks 10% on every single class or every single experience. And who doesn't like to save money, right? This is a little bit about where we've been and where we're going in terms of our build out and in terms of the markets that we want to grow into. These numbers look tiny. Sorry. If you want to talk to me about financials later, you totally can. Actually, you should probably be speaking to my financial officer, Beverly, and not to me, but that's okay. This is a little bit about our break-even year and what our revenue versus expenses look like. So year 5 looks pretty good. So for this one, thank you, Beverly, for making that beautiful slide. And this is a little bit about where we want to put that money. So right now, sure, we've got a minimum viable product. It's in beta. It works. Great. I want it to work so much better. I want to hire a chief technology officer that is personally invested in the success of this company and this business to work with me on my team and not just farm this out to a dev shop somewhere. I want someone that is really going to be able to work with me on this to make it into an app. I mean, it works as a web-based platform and I'm happy, but I could be so much happier. I also want to put a lot of money into marketing because no one can use it if you don't know it exists. And then the third piece of our beautiful wheel is Petra's Gym. So I really, really, really love working with all of the, this is not final art, by the way, but I love working with all of the local businesses, all the local vendors, and all of the people that make Sweat Vacay and our pop-up gym model possible, but I would really love to create a base. And this is based on a highly visual idea of an open air concept gym. I'm going to be capitalizing on some of these fitness trends sort of set by Tulum Jungle Gym. Maybe you are familiar with them. Basically, they have a lovely concept where everything is made of wood, which is highly Instagrammable and very shareable. And they've really taken this idea of just like beachy gym and taken it to the next level. This has become a destination. They just started in 2017 and already this is one of the most visited gyms in the world, and I think that I can do one better. Basically, what I would like to develop is in 3 phases. The Sweat Vacay motto is workouts with local flavor, and for me, what that looks like in Mykonos is stone. Everything on this island is stone, and I want my concept gym to be everything completely made of stone. I think this is taking that sort of like Flintstones gym, elevating it, and creating something highly photographable, highly Instagrammable, very art directed and very stylized. I want to start with the gym, the spa, and the juice bar. And then I want to develop into sort of like a larger vision that includes a full service restaurant and eventually suites and a pool. And I would like to build out an entire wellness facility. I've already engaged with some people to work on some renderings. This is a little bit of the spa piece. This is the juice bar piece. And essentially, I've identified a property. I've spent the last few months looking at about 15 different plots. I have found somewhere really amazing in an area of Mykonos called Korfos. It has a really nice breeze, which I think is going to be incredible for a hot outdoor gym in the summer. And it's got a lot of potential. I think that the Korfos area is very exciting. The water is beautiful. It's famous for kite surfing. And it excites me a lot that I've finally identified sort of the perfect plot. With this timeline, I'd like to be able to break ground as soon as possible so I can open and get started so that I can make Beverly's numbers a reality. Thank you, Beverly. That looks beautiful. So I'm asking for $3 million for this seed round, and that includes acquiring the land, the spa, and the houses just above. To custom craft all of this beautiful stone equipment, I'm going to be engaging the design team at the Savannah College of Art and Design for some of their ideas, as I would like this to be beyond just stone weights, to create really interesting and unique machines that are highly creative. There's a lot of fees involved with licensing on this island in terms of the beach, the building, and the pool, etc. This is me. My background, again, is in advertising. I did my master's at the Savannah College of Art and Design. I built Sweat Vacay in 2018 and moved here in 2019, Sweat Booker in 2020. And my co-founder and our finance and operations person, Beverly, did her undergrad at Harvard and her MBA at NCAD, where Julie went. And she's Boston-based and totally fabulous. Our Greek partner, Panos, has built out all of the wellness facilities at the Soho. Maybe you know Soho House. It's sort of like a club for creatives. We've got one on Mykonos. Sweat Vacay is their fitness provider. They're one of our favorite contracts. They've got a really beautiful outdoor facility made by Panos. And he's also created all of the wellness facilities at the Soho in Paris and the ones in Germany, in Israel. Actually, that one's a really beautiful one. He developed and designed that. So he's been a really fabulous addition to our team. And I hope that you'll contact me to talk more about all of these wonderful things. Thank you.
Wow, very good. Now, I hope I'm not putting you on the spot when I say this or saying something that's not ready for live capture, but I do remember when we first met, you said something along the lines of you were working with a partner and they didn't know you were in Greece because you had a U.S. Angle and so forth. And I thought that was actually pretty damn clever that you were like, you found the infrastructure you needed and you made it work. And it struck me as the ultimate kind of chutzpah, just going after the market and so forth. Is that not for live capture? Is that because I just think I think it showed the resourcefulness that you had to do that. I mean, it's a great vision. It's not been easy.
It hasn't. It's actually been very complicated and very strange. But I really, really, really love Greece and Greek market and all of the people that come to visit Greece and contribute to the economy here. So I started 2 U.S.-based companies out of Delaware, and a third, our Greek company, is a subsidiary. And then for Petra's Gym, I'm looking to base this, in Mykonos, but form the company elsewhere. But yeah, I definitely used the fact that it was a U.S.-based company to use MindBody as long as I could until they basically told me, we know you're based in Greece. We're not available in that region. I'm so sorry, goodbye. And they fired me as a client. I'm like, I'm the one paying you. What are you doing? Are you crazy? And, that was a big reason why I started Sweat Booker. So actually everything was, in that case, a little bit of a happy accident, I suppose.
Well, I think it's one of those, kind of moments, like Julia Roberts in the movie, right? A big mistake, right? That was probably a big mistake for, and Daria referenced this as well. Everybody has that moment where somebody pushed them. I did too. The first job that I had after INSEAD, and somebody said something to me in that job, and I kind of said, you know what, you've just made me an entrepreneur right there and then. Jack Russo kind of mentioned it about what was said to him when he couldn't take equity, and everybody has that moment where something happens and you just realize it's time to go out and build my own platform because somebody does something you think that is such a big mistake. It's such a big mistake. Yeah.
Yeah. And that mistake led to me really understanding the breadth of the opportunity there. It was like, so you're not available in Greece. Where else aren't you available? And I started to look at the map of where all these, where these platforms were and were not available. It's like, okay, then I can take this market. I can take this market. I can take this market. And eventually you're going to want to acquire this company. So hopefully, in 5 years, based on this chart, Mind Body is going to want to snatch this up the same way that they just snatched up ClassPass, the same way they just snatched up Fitness Collection out of Sweden, the same way that they've all snatched up Guava Pass. They're just, right now, there's basically one company. Mind Body has taken and acquired every competitor, and I'm hoping to set myself up as the next one that they want.
Now, a lot of people here, we all know that we should be working out. We all say, well, I used to work out. We all say that, I did work out and all the rest of it and so forth. Do you see this, do you see it moving more into mainstream? Do you think that part of the mission that you have is to get more people to integrate this into their life? I mean, how do you think this is always going to be a niche group of people? I mean, you're super fit, but you look like you just love doing it. Not everybody does. So what do you think the adoption of Mind Body by people who maybe haven't grown up wanting to do that, that 3 hours on a bicycle like you did? Huh?
Well, I mean, I think that one of the things that you learn from advertising is that you're not really in the business of changing anyone's mind. Like, you don't really need to convince anyone of anything. You just present people with the facts, and either they think those facts are attractive and compelling, or they do not. And if they do not, then it is not for them, and you do not need to convince them of anything. So I feel like, I developed Sweat Vacay for people that wanted to stick to their routine even when they were on vacation. And why go to a gym when you could work out outdoors and take in a view like this? So all 7 of our studios are outdoors with epic views so that people aren't going to their indoor underground hotel gym. Take in the natural beauty of Greece through the lens of fitness with my company. Is just such an easy, obvious win. So it's definitely for people that, already enjoy fitness and want to maintain what they're doing. I think with Sweat Booker, it's a great way for people to discover wellness all around them and, find wellness and fitness opportunities that maybe they didn't know existed before. So I think it's definitely for a certain kind of person, but I think more and more that it's not really a niche. I feel like health, wellness, fitness is less and less of a niche, and it's more and more of a lifestyle that people are adopting all over the world.
Excellent. We got a question here with Kimberly.
What are your plans for Kia?
Oh, my plans for Kia start here and now. This is really what we're doing. This is phase 1 of this phase of growing throughout Greece. Basically, at Keanaissance here is our first test, working with Villa Carpe Diem and seeing what we can build here in Kia with Julie. So this is just step 1 of a much larger plan and building this relationship.
Obviously, you've already sold me because I've attended the hike and done yoga both mornings.
Yes.
And so I would, recommend any other opportunities everyone gets involved. One thing I was going to say is that I don't actually even see it as necessarily that it has to be about I do a workout every day and therefore I want to do this, but it's part of the experience. So this was part of the experience that you could have in Kia, was to attend yoga here, even if you'd never done it before, to go on the hike, to explore the island even further. So I was going to say, what about the angle of it is about the experience? Because I've got to say now, anytime I go somewhere, I use Airbnb experiences because I want something that's a physical activity, not necessarily just a, wine and cheese walking tour.
Yes.
To go kayaking or to go bike riding, etc. So I kind of see it as beyond just being a workout and just an experience as part of your mission.
It is. And more I'm seeing that and I'm leaning into it. So even though the vision initially when we started this was about outdoor classes, it was about cycling classes, yoga classes, Pilates classes, I wanted to focus. I wanted it to be a really tight focus. And then I realized that in that focus, I was losing a lot of opportunity, that if I want to if I want people to appreciate the natural beauty of Greece through this lens of fitness and wellness, it has to be a much larger scope and scale. And that's when I started to spend a lot more time playing in that sort of like adventure and outdoor realm. You know, between the time I've spent in Kia, on Limnos and Paros, I've done the e-biking, all of the hiking, the kayaking, horseback riding. I've tried to get to know all of the local people, the local guides, the local vendors, try all the local fare, figure out how I would put these packages together. So now that I'm building these retreat packages and I'm building these experiences, I am able to say, I love, you know, this local organic farm for the wine tasting and the local salad. I really like horseback riding on this particular beach with these particular people for these reasons. You know, like I love this e-bike tour. I love kayaking to this place with these people because you get to see these incredible ruins and get this amazing story. So as I'm collecting all of these local people and all these local experiences, I'm making this offering so much more rich in Mykonos, in Kia, in Limnos, in Paros, and hopefully in the future beyond that.
It sounds exactly like what Gwyneth Paltrow said at the beginning of Youth in London with my friend Seb. That's exactly what she said. I'm just going to take all my experiences I'm going through this and so forth, and then they created Youth, and now it's worth over 250 million.
So this is going to sound like a corny question, but I want to challenge you.
Okay.
So you're sort of fast following off of Mind Body, which is probably teaching you a lot about what you dislike.
Yes.
You probably could talk to a lot of Mind Body users like Lee,
Yes.
who hates the way they do payments and could probably tell you a million
Especially
other
their
things.
back end. It's
Right.
ugh.
So I always thought that there was a future version of what I'll call a club, because that's sort of what this is, where you actually imagine that you want to be a member of the club because there are other members that you want to get to know. So imagine instead of Sweat Vacay, it's something that attaches some information, some little tiny teaser information about who else is in the club. And then people start to think of it as, like, I really want to get to know Jesse because he was willing to get married and divorced yesterday. Like, just to test the idea of the wedding division of Sweat Vacay, which we were brainstorming yesterday. It was very funny. It was like we were all 2 glasses of red wine beyond the limits of the what Jesse called the ideation process. He's not here, I don't think. Oh, he is here. He's listening carefully. So it's like, to me, no one has done this, and if they've done it, they've not done it correctly, because you don't want to become kind of a meat market idea, and you're not trying to be Match.com. But years ago, there used to be a personal ad space that said, I'm looking for an activity partner. Someone who plays tennis, someone who wants to golf. Like, there were people that just wanted to meet people that did stuff that they wanted to do, and you usually need 2 people to play racquetball or something, right? So I always wondered when someone would pick up on this idea, and this is a little bit like what Florence Ventures would do if you came in. It would try to push the envelope on, okay, you're a fast follower, but how do you make yourself distinct even beyond the fast following? So is there an element where you can attach a LinkedIn profile? I mean, obviously people can get other people's names eventually. They do. I always took the view, and I still do today, that if you move to a new city, any city, anywhere, find the best highly rated yoga place, and the speed of trust will accelerate between you and those other new neighbors. Because when people do yoga together consistently, like, and they see you show up, all of a sudden you're reliable. You're not just some stranger. You're part of the community, and they get to know you faster. So I always wondered when, if ever, that would happen. Now, I know there's privacy issues and there's goddamn lawyers and all that jazz, but generally speaking, have you thought about building it in a way that gravitates towards this more club mentality? Because right now it sounds more like, hey, you just use us to schedule, which is different.
Also, too, if you think about the INSEAD angle, when you put up the INSEAD thing with Beverly, I think I forget exactly how we all met and so forth, but I remember that was an exhibition, right? So it's the INSEAD thing for me, like anywhere in the world, you can go, and you never, if somebody calls you and says, you know, I'm an INSEAD alum, boom, 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 and I'm in town. Literally, you just never say no. And I've never ever had that experience where somebody has said, and I think that that signal of I'm in Sweat Vacay in Mykonos, or I'm in Sweat Vacay in Portugal, or I think it's a good angle. It's like a signal. I'm part of this community. You can trust me. I work out.
I would like to connect the community in a greater way. And I think that a big part of that is having, you know, these experiences in these locations in more places, because I've tried to do that on the island, going from, 2 locations to 3 to 5 to 7, and having those is great. But I feel like the more markets, the more places. Yes, like oh, you did Sweat Vacay Mykonos, you're going to love Sweat Vacay San Tropez. Oh, you love Sweat Vacay San Tropez, you're going to love Sweat Vacay Mallorca. I feel like the more of these kinds of places throughout the Mediterranean and beyond that I can, set up, the more of the community there is. Certainly there is, an interesting, user to user idea within the interface of Sweatbooker. Right now it's more about connecting, this double-sided marketplace of business or vendor to user, but there's no reason that you couldn't integrate some kind of user to user interface. Right now there's a chat feature where you can, as a user, chat with the vendor. There's no reason why you couldn't have a user to user community and set up something a little bit more social. Right now, the vendor side of it, when people set themselves up and onboard as a wellness professional, there's an opportunity for them to add their website, their social media, and things like that. But of course, there's more opportunity for people to connect in interesting ways. And in every Sweat Vacay class, there are people from all over the world. Just in the first year alone, we had people come from 16 different countries and take one of our 100 classes that we had in 2019. And in every class, we encourage people to connect. It's like, oh, you're from, Boston. This person is from Germany. Like, you guys should hang out and talk after class. And sometimes magic happens and people actually do go and spend some time. Or I'll say, actually, we're going to be able to organize a much larger group event. Do you guys all want to come for a wine tasting? Do you guys want to go horseback riding? Do you guys want to do paddleboard yoga tomorrow? And a lot of times, you find people creating that community that you're talking about. It's really exciting because Mykonos is a place where people come from all over the world. So it's an interesting blend of cultures and languages in every class and in every experience. It's something really unique and cool.
I know you're going to continue to be very successful. I'm really glad that we joined forces in Kia to develop the market.
Yes.
Would you join me in thanking and welcoming Lauren to Kia?
Thanks, everybody.